13th Friday. The village of Hollowbrook had always held a dark secret, one whispered about only in hushed tones by the elder residents. Every 13th Friday, a sense of foreboding would descend upon the town, and strange occurrences would unfold. On this particular 13th Friday, the air was thick with tension. The townspeople went about their business nervously, casting wary glances at the ominous clouds that gathered overhead. Children were kept indoors, and even the dogs seemed to sense the impending dread. As night fell, a group of friends, Sarah, Mark, and Emma, decided to brave the superstition and explore the haunted woods that surrounded Hollowbrook. Armed with flashlights and a sense of adventure, they ventured into the dark undergrowth, their laughter attempting to drown out their unease. Deeper into the woods they ventured, the trees seeming to close in around them. Unnerving whispers drifted on the breeze, and shadows danced just beyond the reach of their flashlights. Mark tried to lighten the mood with a joke, but his voice trembled, betraying his fear. Their path led them to an old, dilapidated mansion. Its windows were shattered, and ivy crawled up the decaying walls. The air grew colder as they approached, and an eerie glow emanated from within. Against their better judgment, they stepped through the broken entrance, drawn by an unseen force. Inside, the mansion was a labyrinth of dark corridors and empty rooms. The walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, and strange symbols were etched into the floors. Each step echoed in the silence, the only sound being their increasingly rapid breaths. They stumbled upon a room that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly light. In the center, a mirror stood, its surface swirling with inky darkness. Mesmerized and fearful, they gazed into the mirror, their reflections twisting and contorting. Suddenly, the room grew colder, and a voice whispered from the shadows, promising them unimaginable power. Emma's eyes glazed over as she stepped closer to the mirror, her hand outstretched. Mark tried to pull her back, but he was repelled by an unseen force. Sarah watched in horror as Emma's reflection in the mirror shifted, her features distorting into something monstrous. A blood-curdling scream echoed through the mansion as Emma's body convulsed and contorted. Dark tendrils burst forth from the mirror, wrapping around her and pulling her into its depths. The mirror's malevolent hunger had claimed its victim. Terrified, Sarah and Mark fled the mansion, their panicked footsteps echoing through the woods. They stumbled back into the village, their faces pale and their words rushed as they recounted their horrifying encounter. The townspeople, who had always feared the 13th Friday, now had reason to believe. The 13th Friday continued to unfold, the once distant thunder now a deafening roar. As the clock struck midnight, a sinister mist enveloped the village, obscuring all but the faint glow of eerie lights. The trees creaked and groaned as if alive, and the wind carried the mournful cries of lost souls. The villagers huddled in their homes, praying that the night would pass quickly. But as the hours dragged on, their fear escalated. Shadows danced on the walls, whispers echoed in their ears, and the walls themselves seemed to breathe. Sarah and Mark, desperate to save their friend, sought out the village's oldest resident, an enigmatic figure known as the Keeper. The Keeper lived on the outskirts of Hollow Brook, in a cottage shrouded in mystery. They found the old woman hunched over a cauldron, brewing a concoction that emitted a pungent, acrid odor. With a knowing glance, the Keeper revealed the truth of the 13th Friday. It was a day when the boundary between the living and the spirit world blurred, allowing malevolent forces to cross over. She explained that the mansion was a portal, and Emma had become a vessel for the darkness that sought to breach the mortal realm. Armed with knowledge and determination, Sarah and Mark returned to the mansion. The swirling mist had grown thicker, and the mansion seemed to pulsate with an otherworldly heartbeat. With the Keeper's guidance, they found a way to close the portal, but doing so would require a sacrifice. As the first light of dawn broke through the darkness, Sarah and Mark stood before the mirror. With a heavy heart, they recited an incantation that would seal the portal and save Emma's soul. The mansion trembled, and the mirror's malevolent energy fought back. But as they stood strong, a blinding light consumed the room, and a deafening roar reverberated through the mansion. When the light faded, the mansion was silent. The mist lifted, and the 13th Friday came to an end. Hollow Brook returned to its normal state, the darkness receding and leaving only whispers of the night's horrors. But the memory of that 13th Friday lingered, a chilling reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead. The villagers' secret had been exposed, and though they rebuilt their lives, they never forgot the sacrifice made to keep the darkness at bay. And so, the legend of the 13th Friday was born, a cautionary tale whispered from generation to generation, a reminder that even in the face of unspeakable evil, There is always hope, and the power of friendship and sacrifice can overcome even the darkest of nights.